I don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favors, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true.
There was a stabbing over lemonade, and you heard that right, over lemonade. A 15-year-old boy stabbed his stepfather because they had an altercation about lemonade being spilled. And that's at least what they was saying happened. Now we're going to go over some details of the case that maybe you don't have access to, and what was spoken about in the video gives you a fair assessment of the reasonings happening behind it, but we want to give you some extra details because best to know all you need to know so you can know what you need to know. Hopefully that made sense to you. The young man was found with a complicated situation on his hands, to say the least. The body of Timothy Higdon was found laying on the floor, bleeding heavily with knife wounds in his back and head. So we're going to have them explain to you first, and in detail, we'll come back later and go over it. Take it away, News Network.
On the night of January 30th, 2023, officers in Litchfield, Kentucky received a call of a man stabbed and in desperate need of help. What officers didn't know is that it would be one of the youngest suspects in Kentucky history, and that it all started over a glass of spilled lemonade. Officers raced to the home, unaware of the shocking reality that awaited them inside.
Okay. Where's the person with the knife?
My son.
He's in the garage in there? Hey, EMS all the way, man. He was outside? Yeah.
He was.
What's he wearing?
Sit tight. So which way to go? Dispatch advised EMS. Purpose fled the scene. He's got a pretty good puddle of blood under him. We're getting the medic bag now. Hey, cover him. I'm getting the medical bag. Hang on. Who's in the garage? What's he wearing?
Now, maybe I'm being overly judgmental, but if you saw a dude just laying on the floor in a pool of blood, just me again, that's probably why I'm not a cop, wouldn't you be a little bit more urgent about doing something? If you're going to go get a medic bag, wouldn't you be running? The dude has obvious trauma, some pretty severe trauma, and he's taking, I don't know, maybe, like I said, it might just be me. I might just be being overreactive to the situation. Anyway, continue.
T-shirt. He's in a camouflage hoodie.
That's him.
Okay.
That's different.
Tell EMS to hold 1 second. We've got him located in the garage.
Ready?
Yep, go. Sheriff's office, hands in the air now. Hands in the air, step out. Step out. Face away from me. Hands on top of your head. Place your hands in small your back.
There was a big fight between both of them.
He came at me first. He came at me.
Stop speaking.
We'll figure that. We'll figure that out.
A minute more for safety for right now. You got any weapons on you?
No, it's in my
Where's the? Your phone's in your right pocket. Listen to me. You have the right to remain silent. If you say, can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. Speak with an attorney, okay? Walk this way. Justice security, real quick, if you don't care.
You double lock these?
Yes.
Is there any way I'm allowed?
Hang on. Dispatch, we've got him secured. Send EMS to the front door.
Now, the stepfather, was taken to the hospital, to Twin Lakes Medical Center. From there, he was stabilized. But after that, no more stabilization could be done after they transported him to a different facility. They found a large knife, though, in the kitchen, in the sink. That was seemingly that he tried to clean the knife. So I don't know if he can say to himself, it was self-defense when you try to actively undo what you did in self-defense. Normally, if it is self-defense, you don't try to undo the scene so that you don't get caught. It almost seems like there might have been more to the story than he was leading on.
Is there any way I'm allowed to come to the hospital?
Yeah, we can work it out, okay? Stay with us, buddy, okay? Right here, guys.
Only the stretcher.
Stretch, got it.
All the way in?
Yeah, bring it all in.
Scissors.
Josh.
What's going on?
You've been stabbed, buddy. You've been stabbed in the back. It's gonna be okay, though. I'm gonna get you to the hospital. Okay?
You have to go get it. Where did you guys want to shake us with a knife was?
I do see him go out the back door.
So you see him go to the back door with the knife?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll get him loaded and we'll worry about that, okay?
Josh, keep your eyes open for him, buddy.
He does not look to be in very good shape at all. I'm curious to see exactly where they get to the point where they explain what happened to us, so we can kind of get our bearings, even though there might be some information that they can give that we don't really can flesh out right now. But I'm looking forward to hear what they got to say. That the heat said leads up to it. I want to hear it from his mouth, the kid at least.
Keep talking to us, buddy.
Josh. Hey, look at me.
There you go.
Josh.
Ben, do you live here?
Yes, this is my
Okay.
mom.
Yeah, he's your husband, I guess.
Yes.
The gentleman's that your son?
Yes, and this is my stepson.
Okay.
It's okay. No, I need you to breathe, okay?
Keep breathing, keep talking.
Yeah, that's his
Okay.
stepson. Yes.
Keep breathing, okay?
Now I'm trying to figure if I heard that right. If okay, so did she say that the guy in the blue was her stepson or her son? I'm gonna go back in here. I gotta get this right. I want to make sure I get this right.
They kind of like,
You work out so much.
And he has emphysema too. I don't know.
It's not even, I mean,
Yeah.
right
No, I
now.
went back to that. Didn't go back far enough. I want to hear this statement as to what he said he was. He was.
yeah, he's your husband, I guess.
Yes.
The gentleman's that your son?
Yes, and this is my stepson.
Stepson, okay.
Okay. So the kid that stabbed him is his stepson, her son. The kid that's next to her is her stepson, his son. Okay, got it.
It's okay. No, I need you to breathe, okay?
Keep breathing, keep talking.
Yeah, that's his
Okay.
stepson. Yes.
Keep breathing, okay?
They kind of like,
You work out so much.
And he has emphysema too. I don't know.
It's not even, I mean,
Yeah.
right now. Hey, Josh. Yep. Slow down your breathing, okay? I know. You'll be okay. I promise.
Don't touch anything. Everybody go to one side. Let's grab a hold.
Grab a hold, Mrs. Josh.
As Timothy Josh Higdon was rushed away by EMS, deputies turned back to the crime scene. His fate still in doubt, they prepared to search for the knife and begin speaking with family members.
I don't see anything laying out like obvious.
all right.
Didn't they say he went to his bedroom first?
Yeah, we'll check that in a second. All right. He was covered in blood.
I checked where he was standing in there. I didn't see anything there either. If he threw that out in the yard, Sean's dog has helped me find guns before. Don't holler at him. See.
It's one. I know it's not a lighthearted issue, but Southern cops are different. And every time I'm sorry, I grew up in a certain era of TV cops, and most of TV cops were either Southern or they were from New York. And so when I'm hearing him talk about getting the dog and the dog can help me find guns, it almost made me like giggle, because I can almost see them coming with somebody who ain't really part of the police force, somebody named Jethro, and Jethro got a dog named Cletus, and Cletus can help find guns and stuff. That's what that's why I smirked. I didn't want y'all to know, to let you into my intrusive thoughts. That's the first thing I thought of. And that's not my fault. That's TV's fault. I blame TV for that one.
See how you do with blood. Thank you, sir. All right. So, hop back and photograph where he found him. We need to get that blood photographed before Mama goes and cleans it up. Let's retrace his steps while Justin's making that phone call, okay?
How's it going? You doing all right? This is your sister's house? Okay. Somebody stabbed somebody. I'm not sure who.
It's whoa. See how quick? See that to me, that sound like Ethan might have been the problem. That sounds like Ethan might have been a problem kid. If the first thing your sister comes up to the house and the first question she asks when you hear somebody got stabbed is, did Ethan stab somebody? You know, I wasn't gonna pin it on. I was gonna pin it up to, stepfather and stepson didn't get along, and stepfather was a little too violent, maybe, or he was too demanding, or he treated one son different than the other. And that could still be the case. But why would your sister pull up and the first thing she assumed is that the son did it? You know, there wasn't a question of the other son stabbing the mama. He just said somebody got stabbed. I find that interesting.
You got one detained. They're taking one to the hospital. If you don't care, just hang out right here for just a minute. Ma'am, do we have, they're taking him to Litchfield. We have your permission. We take him to Litchfield.
Josh or?
Good Josh. Your husband, okay, you go straight on that. We have, he said, look for the knife and look for the evidence of what happened.
Yeah, he went straight out the door though. It would be out the door.
So he went out the front door or the back door?
Pretty sure the garage way.
Okay. All right, where did the fight happen at here?
Yes, right here.
So this is where he collapsed at?
This is where they had each other bound.
Okay. What was
When they fight, it is not good ever. But they
When they fight, it is not good. Yeah. I was talking to Corey, and I'm a stepfather myself. I've had my run-ins with my kids. It ain't never come to this, thank God. It got close, but not to this level. But if she's saying when they fight, this seems like a regular or non. It doesn't seem far-fetched. Like it happens pretty regular for them to say when they do. Especially if you tell me when they do, it gets bad. They punched and hit each other, or what? When did they fight? What does that actually mean? I'm curious as to how you can say that when they fight, like it's normal for them, and that shouldn't be normal.
They've never hit each other, punched and spilt lemonade. That's why I had all this stuff pulled out over here. Lemonade went everywhere, and Josh, my husband, got upset about it and questioned him, and then they got in a fight.
If you can, we get a little bit fresh off you.
Luke, it's gonna be okay. Your dad's gonna be
So I'm
okay.
going to take him to your other son, sheriff's office.
Does she seem unbothered to you? Just a little? Is it just me? I know she might be trying to stay solid and strong, but even when the dude was on the ground and he couldn't breathe, she didn't seem very engaged with the situation. And maybe this is part of the whole blending family not working out, where she's more concerned about what's going to happen to her son than what's happening to her husband or the stepson. Again, she said that the argument was indeed over spilt lemonade. What we don't know is how it went from spilt lemonade to Ethan and the husband Timothy getting into the fight, to the point where knives got included into it. That's the crazy part that I would like to hear.
Process. This is pretty steep charges. Assault first degree. It's not just a murder.
But I don't know the extent. Like, I always turn away. I know he went after Ethan. I don't know. Ethan was he always carries like a pocket
Ethan
knife.
started swinging at him when Dad put his finger in his face.
Okay, and see now, this tells me exactly what I needed to know. It's a dysfunctional family. I think mom and dad got together because they liked each other, whatever the reasons were, and they never thought about compatibility with kids. Either kids with themselves or kids with each other. They never considered that whatsoever. That's what it looks like. Especially what he's saying is that Ethan started to swing the instant that Timothy said fingers started coming out there. And her nonchalant behavior to what he just said, it seems to me this was a total dysfunctional family.
What's your husband's name?
Timothy Joshua Higdon.
Hey, you busy?
I got my girls with them.
We got a juvenile that has stabbed his father, and he's thrown the knife somewhere. I didn't know if you'd be able to bring the dog up, maybe find it.
You know, like the area through that?
He was in the house and went out the back door to the garage, so we're thinking it's somewhere in there. Did you find it, Wally?
Blake? Yeah. Not yet. I've been just getting information.
Okay.
All right. And what's your name, young man?
Joshua Lucas.
Josh. You go with Josh?
I go by Luke.
Luke? Okay.
Yeah. Is there any way my sister's out there if she can come in?
Yeah, I told her just to hang back there, and as soon as we get
this area photograph and stuff, that's fine. Young man, you have detained out there. What's his first name?
Ethan McKinney.
So let us look around here. Do you hold Sean?
I talked to Sean, he said he's going to take his kids across the road and be.
Can I get an extra set of clothes for you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you, if you don't care, go grab that for me.
Okay. So what's going to happen with Ethan?
So I'm gonna come.
See, you see what I mean? There is more concern with Ethan than with her husband. She hasn't asked 1 minute yet to find out if he's dead or alive. I mean, in fact, she said, he'll be okay. Don't worry about him. I'm not saying she shouldn't be worried about her son because her son stabbed somebody. However, your son stabbed somebody. Your husband of all people, and I would think maybe just a little bit, especially over lemonade. Okay, hear me out. Maybe you should have stepped in and said, son, don't be swinging on the man for pointing a finger. I don't know. Hear me out. Intervene. You said you walk away when that stuff happens. That's not very good parenting. Huh. Man, look.
At CDW, which is court designated worker. She's essentially the go-between between prosecutor and juveniles. CDW contacts the judge. They go over the series of charges, decide whether he is incarcerated in juvenile detention center or released to a guardian. So he's your biological son, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other guardians in this community?
Not in this community.
Okay. Is his dad in the picture?
Kinda.
Yes, okay.
Kinda.
Okay. Where's his dad live?
Lexington.
Okay. All right. If you don't care, man, I'm going to talk to Luke for a second. If you want to go up there and talk to your sister. All right, Luke. Obviously, it's been a bit of a chaotic night. Just from the beginning, take your time. What happened?
Pretty much.
I'm going to mute the TV, okay? So I can hear you better, okay?
So Ethan's getting taken to the police station.
Yeah, he'll be taken to the sheriff's office. It'll be up to her as far as where he goes from there, as far as juvenile detention or release to a parent.
I know he was just trying to defend himself, and he had that knife in his pocket. Did Josh go after him? Yeah, he's the one that kept going like that in Ethan's face and screaming on top of his lungs. And I think that they started pushing each other, and then one thing led to the next. And Ethan always carries that pocket knife in his pants, and he just.
Wow. Now I'm convinced that people will make all kinds of illogical reasons for some things that people do. As a mother, hear me out, please. As a mother, if you know this is a track record between the two of them, wouldn't it behoove you to try and find a way to intervene to either de-escalate before it got too bad? You said when they argue, so they argue a lot. You don't try and find a way to either say, I don't know, counseling, or I don't know, maybe have him go live with his father so that he's not in problems with his stepfather. Maybe as a mother, you do a good job of trying to make sure this doesn't happen. And the way you're talking, can I be frank with y'all? She pissing me off. Mm-hmm. She is pissing me all the way, right, straight off. Well, he carries, the third time she says he carries that knife. It seems like she knew a whole lot about Ethan and did nothing about him. It seemed like he had a very volatile personality. We are yet to find out how the lemonade got spilled. Okay.
I was in my room and I just heard them arguing, which is, it happens sometimes. Stepson.
Where's your room?
Stepfather. My room is that one. That's
The one on this side. Okay.
Yeah, I come out here to take out the trash because that's my chore for this week. And they were arguing, and I found out what the argument was about is because Ethan put the lemonade in there with the top on crooked, and it spilled everywhere in the fridge. Ethan was saying that he didn't do it, it wasn't his fault and all this, and it was just a back and forth on, yes, you did, no, you didn't, pretty much. And then Ethan kind of got riled up about it and got in his face, and my dad was like, like getting in my face.
Now I'm going to make an assessment. That's just what I do. I like to make assessments. Now hear me out. Timothy has a clean reported, no reported any kind of activity of acting, anger, but nothing like that. No criminal record, nothing. The sister pulls up. The sister hears of a stabbing, and the first person the sister assumes did the activity that is illegal is Ethan, not the stepfather. She didn't say, did Timothy punch Ethan? Nope. Did Timothy get in Ethan? Nope, none of that stuff. None of that occurred. She didn't even assume that. She just assumed that Ethan stabbed him. Right? That is what the sister, right from the rip, assumed. The son is now saying the contrary to what Mama said, which is Mama said, I know she never talked about the spilling of the lemonade, which tends me to believe that the son, this guy here, is telling more truth than she is. He said that this lemonade was put on crooked. Ethan said he didn't do it. The father said he did. Ethan said I didn't. Stepfather said you did. And then boom. Problems. I'm kind of tending to believe that this thing escalated long before this incident, with the mother not intervening in their activities between each other. And I do believe, just as for the record, that in situations like this, her son should have been with his father. Sue me if you want. That's just what I believe.
You're not going to do that. You're 15. So dad started putting his finger in his face, and then Ethan just started like hurdling, like swinging at him, and they just started like grappling pretty much. It started like right there and got all the way over there. It looked like my dad was on top, and it looked like Ethan like slung him over and got on top of him. I didn't know what was going on. And then dad says, "Did he just stab me?" And I just started freaking out. I go over there, there's blood everywhere, and Ethan comes over here to the sink and cleans off his knife, and then walks out the door talking to somebody on the phone. I don't know who he was talking to. I just seen him. I just seen him with
pocket knife or a kitchen knife.
I think he keeps like a knife, like clipped to his. Yeah, nothing real fancy, just like a knife that you can flip out.
Let's see.
Yeah,
it's pretty scary, man.
He's all I have.
Well, he's in the best hands that we can find him right now. Those medics knew what they were doing, and they were all business getting him out of here fast. They did the best they could to get him out of here as soon as they could. Okay. So he washed the knife off in the sink.
I think that's what he did. He had the water on.
There's the I found the knife. It's in the sink.
That's a big old knife, y'all. That ain't no small knife. If he got all the way in with that, he could do some major damage to some major arteries, which he did. He did do some major damage. The man couldn't breathe. I would assume that maybe just perhaps he might have punctured lungs or something in there too.
Oh, left handle.
Hey, we found the knife.
Okay, y'all good?
Yep.
Dad, all right?
He's still coherent and talking. He was in pretty bad shape when he left here.
Like an actual solid stab.
Like actual, got some lung.
That's what I thought. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's one of them nines like we all carry.
Well, at least it wasn't super big.
It's big enough. I'm gonna hop off here and help Wall out.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, we'll see. Wall, are you done here?
Yeah, you're gonna back up. I'm gonna get the knife and then Head to the SO. All right, man. We found the knife here in the sink.
Oh, you did? Right there in the sink, huh?
Yeah, he was trying to wash it off. And then he walked out the back door.
Is there any way I can stick with anything?
Before we leave, not right now, okay? Is he in your truck, Justin? Okay. Hey, your dad's in good hands, okay? He's in the best possible hands he can be in right now, all right? Keep your head clear. If you talk to anybody, you can call dispatch, okay? Night, buddy.
Mama's not even there to comfort the dude. Not even. Went out to talk to sister. Sisters didn't even come in to talk to the son. Yeah, I know, I understand. They said they want to separate them so you can ask the questions. I hope they come in later, but anyway, continue.
All right, Mr. McKinney. So, from what you're saying, the Harvard started over spilt lemonade? Okay. Did you see any physical altercation?
Yes. They were screaming. It started off screaming. Josh started putting his finger in Ethan's face. They started shoving back and forth. And then that's whenever Josh took his hands and just pushed Ethan as hard as he could against the wall. From there, they fell to the floor and they were wrestling each other. And when they were in the floor wrestling, and Ethan was like, get off of me, get off of me. And then all of a sudden, I heard Josh said, he stabbed me, he stabbed me.
Okay. Well, we got his shirt and the knife. We're going to go to the sheriff's office from here, okay?
Is there any way I can speak to you before y'all go?
Briefly. Just briefly. Is it in your truck? You can go
Because I know he's scared to death.
Okay.
He should be. But
Okay.
Your mother wants to talk to you. You sit in the truck. Turn your feet around. Turn your feet around. You sit there. You don't get out of this truck. You understand?
Are you scared or anything? Is your nose busted?
I thought I was physically going to get hurt, so that's why I pulled up.
He doesn't sound scared. He don't sound scared at all. Mm-mm.
Hell, he was getting me. My nose is bleeding heavy.
I know. Just come at me first. I know this.
We'll be able to call your mom in a minute, okay?
Here we go.
Yep, I was right. They should never been married at all. They should have never been a joint household whatsoever because there was no unity in that home. None. I will venture to guess that he was looked at as the bad guy for anything that had to do with Ethan. Just based on her statement alone. Even if he did something, you should have be done. Just be done. For your son's sake, you should have been already gone or sent your son to be with the papa. Point blank, period. They should not have been together. You set that up. I'm blaming mama for this. Y'all can get mad at me all you want. I'm blaming mama for this. Because she's the one that picked Timothy, not the son. So if Timothy had issues, she would have known. If Timothy had issues, she allowed it to stay, and she got married to Timothy, knowing that they didn't get along. She already admitted that they had multiple times where they fell out. And you know he carries a knife, and your sister's already assuming that he's the one that did the stabbing. So it obviously was more than just a few fights once in a while that they had. If the first thing come into her mind, stabbing Ethan, he did it. Either Ethan had been telling people that Timothy was a problem and mama didn't listen, or mama didn't give two shits about Ethan or Timothy because she was getting to live in that beautiful, nice house if it's not hers. The whole thing is dysfunctional. The whole damn thing is dysfunctional. Point blank, period.
Inside now?
Yes, you're free to go inside, ma'am. We'll buckle you in. We're going to the sheriff's office and we'll talk, okay?
Hey, old buddy. Had a juvenile stab his father in the back. Legit stabbed in the back. Pretty good sized blade. Might have got some lung. We've got the juvenile in custody, so we're on our way to the sheriff's office. So, all right, then. That's the game plan.
All right, brother man. Is he gonna live?
I would assume so. I mean, he was coherent talking whenever they took him out. So, all right, then. I'm on my way to the sheriff's office.
With Ethan now en route to the sheriff's office to answer questions and give his side of the story, officers believed the situation was under control. In reality, the night was about to take a much darker turn.
He yells my name because he was, I was the last one seen get the lemonade up. He's like, "You spilled the lemonade," and he's just all so mad about it for no reason, like just outrageously mad, like more mad than I've seen him mad like ever for the most dumbest thing. And then I could have swore I thought I put the top on. He was like, apparently you didn't. And just starts arguing about the stuff about lemonade and doing some other stuff. And starts calling us all stupid because my mom says kids make mistakes. You shouldn't be getting so mad over that. And he just starts yelling at us, calling us all stupid and stuff. I just want to get away from it. So I go into my room, close my door, and then he just walks in there, like all big and bad. And then he comes up to me and just pushes me. And like the first push, I thought something was going to happen. So that's when I grabbed the knife, but then I put it in my pocket because I wasn't going to use it until actually something happened, until I thought that I needed.
So you didn't have the knife in your pocket originally, it was in your room.
Yeah, it was originally in my room. Because I wasn't going to use it unless I thought I needed to.
Nah, buddy. Nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You see, I hear stuff like that, and my first radar goes off is that you went in there not to get away. You went in there to get the knife. You didn't just go in there to get away. You went in there to get the knife. The problem is your mama said that you and your brother said you always have the knife on you. Both your mom and your brother said it's on you. At the time of the altercation, prior to the altercation, always have it on you. None of them said you went back to your room. Not even your mom said that. So somebody ain't telling the truth.
Actually use it because there's no reason to. But then I did because he pushed me. I just wanted to get away from him because he was just getting on my nerves. So he was yelling at me. Then he pushes me again. Like I try to get out of my room and he doesn't let me out. I said, can I please get out of my room? He says no and pushes me again. So then I finally move him out of the way. Not hard or nothing at all. Slightly move him out of the way so I can get out of my room. Tries to get me on the ground. And that's where I push him and then start defending myself. And then he tries to get me on the ground again. I'm like, no, and then that's when I stab him because that's when he hit me in the nose. So I stab him because he hit me in the nose and he was trying to get me to the ground. So I thought that something was going to happen because he's way older than me, more experienced, everything. I wasn't just going to let myself get beat like that.
Okay. Did he ever have a weapon in his hand at all, or just his hands?
Just his hands.
Whatever after that.
I just got up because everyone was screaming. I just washed the blood off my hands. Well, originally I dropped the knife off the ground and then just got up and washed the blood off my hands.
Just dropped the knife off. You picked it up off the ground?
No, I dropped it on the ground. Because you know how it was on the ground when you walked in there? Because I
Okay, maybe he thought he dropped it on the ground. But it was in the sink. I'm sensing a lot of plot holes in it, and it's very difficult for me to think that what he did was not in some way, shape, form, or fashion, not self-defense necessarily, including the knife. I mean,
left it on the ground, and then I went and washed off my hands, and then I went outside just because I needed to get some air. That's all I felt like I needed was just air.
How often do you guys fight?
It's happened a lot. It's been going on for a while. Because used to when I was a little kid around 8, because my mom got with him when I was around 8 and stuff. He would legit use both of his hands and pick me up by the cheeks and squeeze my face, telling me to shut up and stuff.
How many times you stabbed him?
Either once or twice. I know that.
Okay.
Because I done it, I think it was twice. Because I done it once, and then he didn't fall, and he tried to keep on, hitting me and trying to get me on the ground. So then I think I done it again, and that's when he fell to the ground.
Was he standing when you stabbed him?
Yeah, he was trying to get me on the ground, hitting me and stuff.
Okay. Where'd the first?
In the back, demonstrate, get up and show you all the spot in the back.
Stand up here.
It's right here, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Where'd the next one go?
Either above it or a little bit below it. I can't remember.
Okay. So was you reaching around him, I guess?
Yeah, I had the knife there. I just went because I was trying to, just get him away from me because I was getting hit. I thought I was going to die. I thought he wasn't going to stop. So I just went to that shop and I just stabbed him.
All right. Sit tight for a second with Justin right here.
Definitely then his mama. She should have, if that what he's saying is true, if what he's saying is true, that Timothy used to grab him by the cheeks and shake him. I don't know how that works, but if you can grab somebody by the cheeks and lift them up, you're pretty strong and you got some pretty damn good strong cheekbones. But he pick you by the cheeks. I don't know if it's the cheeks on the cheek or the cheek on the butt. I don't know which one he's talking about. But if you pick up somebody up by the cheek and shake him because you got problems with him, and mama heard about that and mama don't do nothing, mama, you a piece of shit. Daddy, you a piece of shit for doing it. But mama's a worse one because you allow him to do it. And you have the option to not let him do it by taking your son away from the situation. But remember, she said it didn't never get to that point. So somebody's lying. Somebody lying.
Get my camera to a quick pictures of you, okay? All right. And I'll make a phone call. I'll be back here and talk to you, all right? All right. I'll be right back.
Now that Ethan had told his side of events, officers waited. But soon they received devastating news they now had to break to him.
All right. Ethan, explain something to you, okay? This is not easy. You hear? But I gotta tell you, Stepfather didn't make it. He has passed away. Don't know what's gonna happen. Charges or anything like that. I'm about to call court as a worker. I'll still like your dad to come and talk to you. Because it's almost here. Just make you aware of that, okay? Sit here, take a breath, drink water. But please stay sitting here, okay? Missy Davis, the lady you talked to earlier. Ethan wants to talk to you, okay? Talk to you.
I'm just making sure that you're aware that your charge has changed.
I didn't know.
Do you now?
Well, yeah, now I do.
Okay. All right. So, instead of attempted murder, they're charging you with murder. You'll have a court date on Thursday at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't bring you to court. They'll probably do it on Zoom. But you'll know more after that, okay? And they're going to take you to the hospital and get you medically cleared. You have to do that before going to detention. All right. Thanks.
All right. So,
shock is that what we're supposed to chalk that up to? Is shock? I'm just asking, is that supposed to be shock, or is it that in some way, shape, or form he's kind of happy it's done with? If, like I said, if the father put hands on him when he was growing up from 8 to 15, so you're talking about a 7-year span of abuse, if we call it that, to where he feels that at the age he's at, the size he's at, that he had to use a knife to get away from it. And for that 7-year period, mama did nothing about it, knowing that there were fights going on and on and on and on and on. Maybe she thought it wouldn't get to that point. But his reaction to your stepdad's dead is cold. Very, very cold.
So how long am I going to be in there for?
go up to the judge. So you'll be in front of the judge Thursday. They'll decide whether you stay in there.
So what, are you a lawyer or is it just a judge?
Your parents are already in the process of getting you a lawyer. Okay. So
I'm just saying that the detention center until.
Right, until the hearing Thursday, I assume. Let's go.
Watch your step, bro.
All right.
Over there. Dr. Jarboe, you got hit in the nose? Yeah. Got any other injuries? No. Just touch your head back a little bit. You have any bleeding when it happened? Just off your mouth, stay down out there. All right. Had any x-rays on that? So that's.
There's so much to unpack here that I'm confused. Okay. So his biggest thing was that he was punched in the nose, and he made it seem as though the punch in the nose was really, really egregiously the big thing to happen in order for him to get to the point of the stabbing. I'm not trying to tell people how to fight. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going based on what he's presenting. I'm going based on what Mama said. Going based on what every else thing took place post. You stab him, hospital, he dies. You just found out you're going to be charged with murder. And now you're wondering when you're getting out. Maybe chalk it up to a 15-year-old mind. The 15-year-old mind doesn't have any issues. But you're being charged with murder under a domestic violence context, and you don't have a question about nothing? The transcripts say that in June 23, the judge allowed him to be released from juvenile detention for a $10,000 bond, and he ended up having to go live with his biological father outside in Grayson County. On the condition of his release, that he would not return to Grayson County, partly to calm community tensions around the case. My question is, if there wasn't anything egregious between mom and dad, why wouldn't she, in that time period, send him to live with his biological father? I don't get that.
Evening. So he has 2 citations. He's got the original charges of attempted murder, assault 1, tampering, and the second citation for murder. Felon, don't try to get mine. Evening, good luck to you. Pull up, man.
Ethan's stepfather, Timothy Josh Higdon, would end up not surviving the stabbing, having been stabbed 6 to 7 times. The suspect, Ethan McKinney, was originally charged as a juvenile, but in June 2023, he was released into his father's care on a $10,000 bond. As part of his release, Ethan was barred from returning to Grayson County, a condition meant to ease community tensions. His case quickly sparked turmoil, with family members demanding he be tried as an adult. As of publication, the latest available information indicates the case remains ongoing in Grayson County, with Ethan still facing a murder charge. However, the Midwest Safety Team has independently confirmed the case is sealed, meaning further developments are not accessible. While the case may have reached a disposition in court, that outcome will not be available to the public.
2 times is what he said he thought he did it, right? And I get the adrenaline rush of a fight may not help you remember. But 2 versus 6 or 7, I'm just trying to make sense of what he says happened. Based on what we know and what we don't know, it might affect what we come to a point in agreements or disagreements with this. We have a certain individual where the fighting started somewhere around 7 p.m. at the house. The call is made. Officers respond. He's in the garage. The knife is in the sink. He says it's on the floor. They ask him what went on. The brother has one account. The mother has a different account. And he has a different account. In his account, it's in the bedroom. In the mama's account, living room. In the brother's account, kitchen to living room. Of all 3 accounts, the one that really has the most merit based on what you saw in the room was the brother. That the argument started where the kitchen was with the lemonade. They fought and it spilled into the living room. But 7 stab wounds is an awful lot. What in the hell were the other 2? I get you may not want to intervene, but how do you get to the point where you are stabbing your step 7 times and nobody do? I just think they might the sealed documents, although we don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if mama had some sort of issue to do with. I don't know, man. This is a convoluted case. It's a sad case, but it's an avoidable case. A very avoidable case. This is not the Brady Bunch we're talking about. The TV show lied to y'all. Not all families can blend. It's not a normal thing for it to blend. You have to be conscientious, deep thought about the blending of 2 families. They're coming from completely different trauma sections of what happened with that marriage and that marriage. And each kid could be blaming themselves, blaming the parent, blaming the other parent. They could be doing a whole lot inside here and you never address it and it's going to come out. 2 siblings that have no blood relations could be fighting each other because your dad and my dad are not the same dad. Your mom and my mom not the same mom and all that crap. As adults, we ought not put children in that position at all. In a lot of ways, I feel for Ethan. I do feel for him. Maybe he entered into this situation unfairly because parents did not consider anything to do with him at all. And not only when they made the decision not to involve him, but make it feel as though whatever we do is okay. And maybe he just had enough. Maybe the one thing that caused the argument, he had had enough, and that was it, and he was going to end this thing some way, somehow, one way or another. Well, he doesn't have to deal with that anymore. Whether or not the case gets closed, continues going, we will never know, because now it's sealed. And one life is lost. A son lost his father. Now he has nobody. Because I highly doubt that the mother might have had custody of him. So now he's just left. Unless, of course, she decides to adopt him. Now that might be even more issues. How do those two get along if they didn't get along when Papa was there? Maybe they might get along now because they both have a sense of loss. She lost her husband and he lost his dad. I don't know. Well, this is one for the ages where it's just upsetting, angering, and sad at the same time. Whatever your thoughts are, please leave them in the comment section below. Let me know what you think.
One wrong move turn the present into the past. I don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favorites, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true. If you foul, that show up too. No miss, no spin, no cover